I am back. Put on the mic. Hopefully to be able to speak better, so that you can hear me better. I tend to be a little throaty, you might say, when I speak. But let's go back to the subject at hand, peace. Now, peace is something that humanity has spoken nobly of quite often, as we know. Humanity has sang about peace, wrote poems about it, dreamed about it. Always seemed to be quite elusive, though. Consider the following quotes. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he said, "The real and lasting victories are those of peace and not of war," which is true. Peace, he said, cannot be achieved through violence. It can only be attained through understanding. But then, Marcus Tullius Cicero, a Roman statesman of sorts, who, by the way, also said, the more laws, the less justice, he said, the only excuse for war is that we may live in peace unharmed. While Napoleon Bonaparte, he said, if they want peace, well, nations should avoid the pinpricks that precede cannon shots. Now, this guitarist, this great guitarist, of whom I was a fan of back in the 60s and 70s, and I thought nothing perceptive could come out of this guy. He's just good at playing the guitar, but you know what? He actually said something that had real meaning in it. He said, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. And he has a point. Most wars started because of the greed for power. And I'm talking about Jimi Hendrix, great guitarist, plays the guitar real good. You know, my friends and I used to say that this guy, he can play the guitar with his coat buttons. Real good. Now, I looked up the definitions of peace in the secular dictionary, and what I found was, well, I found 3 or 4 very good definitions. One is the normal non-warring condition of a nation, group of nations, or the entire world. Non-warring condition. Or it could be defined as a state of mutual harmony between people or groups, especially in personal relations, like try to live in peace with your neighbors, that kind of stuff. Another definition I saw was the normal freedom from civil commotion and violence of a community, public order and security. So these are the definitions of peace that I found. Another one is a state of tranquility or serenity, like, oh, may he rest in peace. Then individually it could be the freedom of the mind from annoyance, distraction, anxiety, you know, tranquility or serenity. The word was also used 400 times in the Bible, peace, 296 times in the Old Testament, of which the primary or foundational word was shalom. Now, it had its variables signifying an absence of strife, a soundness of mind, tranquility, to be in a covenant of peace and safety, stuff like that. It was also used 104 times in the New Testament, of which the foundational word was Irene, I-R-E-N-E, from which we get the name Irene. you know, signifying basically the same principles or conditions as shalom. But regardless of definitions, regardless of how we like to use the word in our language, regardless of essays and, you know, good intentions and poems, songs that we do, write, you know, peace is still ever elusive. You know why? Because this is a fallen world populated by fallen human beings, where governments are fallen, run by fallen leaders. When I say fallen, it's not, well, what I mean by that is theologically or scripturally fallen in sin, which is to go further to mean that humankind is by nature sinful. And this sinful nature in us necessarily brings out in us greed, avarice, distrust, mistrust, and all the negative things that make for the possibility of conflict, strife, wars, principally greed. That's what humans are made of. That's what this world is all about. I mean, look around you. I mean, you've probably been watching London. Think about London. You know, I saw a video and I heard the voices of two young women. Apparently they were being interviewed, and basically, bottom line, what they were saying is, well, this is happening because we want to show that we can do whatever we want. Man, no, you can't. You can't just walk into somebody's house and start shooting people. You can't just walk into somebody's shop and burn it and loot it. You wouldn't want anybody, just about anybody, just a stranger walking into your room and molesting you, would you? Suppose that kind of mentality ruled. You can just imagine the mayhem. And rooted in such an attitude, in such a line of thought, is the fact that man is fallen. He is at rebellion. He is in rebellion against his God. He is in rebellion against his Creator. He is in contempt of his fellow human beings. That is why when the Lord was asked, what is the greatest commandment of all? His answer was twofold. Love God above everything. Love your neighbor. That's the greatest commandment of all. And basically, you know what? Fallen man, unregenerate man, and those are theological terms which I will be discussing some more. Fallen man, unregenerate man, is at war with his Creator.